Hey everybody. So I was not planning on doing another video today, but my wife and I were just talking about this a little while ago when we were driving back from work. By the way, it is Sunday. I believe it's May 10th, Mother's Day. We did have a nice Mother's Day. We went out with our kids to a nice restaurant and had a nice meal, but we are on a crunch deadline, and so we had to go put a few hours in today. It's all good. I did offer to I said, you stay at home and just relax, but she insisted, so I did not push her. Anyway, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. I just got off the phone with my little old Norwegian mom up in Canada. She's 84. They'll be driving down here in a couple of weeks for a family wedding. So excited to see them. My youngest son came home for the weekend. He moved out of state a little while ago, so it was really good to see him too. So it's been a great weekend, even though we've been working a lot. Went to a bit of a party last night, and it's just been a great weekend. So sorry, let me get rid of this reminder. So this is what we were talking about. Now, I've said many times I don't like talking politics or religion on social media, and I'm not going to now. This is around the periphery of it. You can call it what you want. It's cool if you think that I am doing that. I really try not to get into divisive stuff. I have people ask me all the time, did you vote for this person? Did you vote for that person? My answer is always the same. I'm not going to talk about that on here. So I will not get into my personal politics. I will not get into my opinions of different politicians. You can ask me about it if you want. I'm not going to answer. I've never seen it lead to anywhere good, no matter what side you're on. So, vote your conscience, whatever you believe. I can still be friends with you. Hopefully you can still be friends with me regardless. But this is what I wanted to talk about a little bit. So I won't get into details of who they are, but I know people close to me that are very into one side of politics. And I know people that are very into the other side, like very into it. They watch their channels every night, whichever side they're on, and it's like a big part of their lives. I don't ever see it leading anywhere fun, excuse me, or happy. I've said this many times that it was not like this 30, 40 years ago. I mention all the time, I didn't know the politics of any of my girlfriends. We didn't talk about it. It was, when a big election come up, you talk a little bit about it, but nobody ever got mad at somebody else for voting for whoever. It's obvious it's not like that anymore. And I see it just as a negative thing in their lives. I don't think they see it that way, but when I see them talking about it on both sides, they're easy to anger if somebody doesn't agree with them on both sides. And I have really tried hard in the last few years, especially since the whole COVID thing, to just distance myself from that. And now that does not mean that I bury my head in the sand and I don't have a clue what's going on in the world, because I do. I keep up on current events. I try to look at things from all sides. There's so much biased stuff out there, no matter what side you're on, that it's really hard to get accurate, truthful news. I saw a poll not very long ago, and this has consistently been like this for several years now, that the only people that have a lower rating than Congress is the media, because they're all just so dishonest and biased on both sides, that I have really tried to focus on the things that actually matter in life: family, friends, my job, enjoying life. Last weekend we got to go to Moab, Utah with a bunch of friends and just soak in nature and just enjoy and just be happy in the company. And with our group of friends, and it's quite large, you know, and it depends on what we're doing. Sometimes we go out with one couple, sometimes there's 10 couples, sometimes there's 20 couples on a camping trip. I honestly, excuse me, I honestly don't remember anybody ever bringing politics up, except maybe in passing, and then it's gone. I wish we could get back to the way it was. I don't know if that's possible. Everybody's so dug in on their sides, and it makes it difficult. I have not personally experienced it a lot. I have had it happen a few times where somebody I meet will really push to know what side I'm on. I will say this much: I try to look at the pluses and negatives on all sides. I'm not just gonna vote because there's a letter next to somebody's name, which I know there are a lot of people that do. It's got to have this letter next to their name, or I will not vote for them. If they have that letter next to their name, not a chance of voting for them. But like I said, I'm not burying my head in the sand. I am just choosing to focus on what's important in life for me. And, you know, everybody gets to make that decision for themselves. And I know there are lots of channels out there. If you're looking for somebody to talk about politics or do this or that, it's easily available. You can find your side and soak it up, or look at the other side and hate on it. That's your choice. That is not what I do. This is about as close to talking about politics as I'm going to get, unless something really big or dramatic or important. And I know there are always important things happening in the world. I just don't feel the need to talk about it on here. So I have focused on experiences in my life. You know, I did a video just a few days ago about how I followed these guys around my age on YouTube that are retiring with a lot less money than I thought you had to have. You know, I had a number in my head, and I was like, I don't know if I'm going to get there, because I've never had a 401k. I've just put money into my own Roth and my traditional IRA. There's no match. Nobody's ever put anything in there for me. So, you know, we've done okay, but it would be a lot more if I'd have had a 3, 4, 5, 6% match all the time. I like talking about that stuff. I like talking about finances. I'm not an expert on it, but I have studied it a lot personally. I do all my own investing, you know, through not fiduciaries, you know, the big companies, Fidelity, Janus, Vanguard. There's a whole bunch of them out there. Pick the one you want. Charles Schwab. They're endless. I pick my own mutual funds. I don't do a lot of stocks, but I do have a few stocks. I like diversifying. I'm going more into bonds as I get older, lowering the risk a bit. You know, it probably brings the interest overall down, but it also brings the downside down. I'm not going to get into that a lot right now, but if you're interested, go back a few videos. It says something about, can you retire with $300,000 to $500,000? And the answer is yes, if you're debt free. You got a big mortgage, it's going to be very tough. If you got decent Social Security and you've put away several $100,000, and I know there are people that are like, I don't have hundreds of thousands of dollars. I know for a fact, I just heard a survey that the average 60-year-old, which I'm 62, has, I think it was 150,000 saved. So I'm not judging anybody, don't get me wrong. I wish I had a lot more than I have, but it looks like I will be able to retire in a year or two. And I will not be watching a whole bunch of news channels when I retire. I'll be working in my yard. I'll be sitting out here having coffee with my wife in the morning. We'll be hanging out with our friends around the fire. I'll be golfing my ass off. I will still be doing side hustle work. I will still do paint jobs here and there. I enjoy it when I'm home. I don't like being on the road, but I enjoy the work, and it keeps me active and in kind of relatively good shape. I would like to be in better shape. That's another thing I want to focus on if I can get off the damn road. It is so hard living a healthy diet living a healthy diet, having a healthy diet when you're on the road. Sometimes my words just come out mumbled. My brain goes faster than my mouth can keep up with. Just so you know. Anyway, I'm going to keep this one a little bit shorter. I just wanted to throw that out there. See what y'all think. Am I the exception? Or are there a lot more people like me that try to stay away from all that stuff and just focus on the important things, in my opinion, in life? And for me, it's family, friends, job, my faith. Even though I'm not a religious guy, I know people hate this term. I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. I'm sorry, I am. I believe in some higher power than me. And I have faith that there's something after this life. I know I'm kind of wandering now, but my thoughts just start flowing and I just like getting them out there. So if you watch this far, thanks again. I really appreciate it. I appreciate those of you subscribing to my channel and following and commenting and smashing that like button. So have a great Sunday night, and we will talk again soon. Tack för denna gång. I think I forgot my opening. Oh well. Tack för denna gång. Men snackas igen snart. Thank you for this time. We will talk again soon. Peace. Love.